You can see Peter on NFL Network's 2020 NFL Scouting Combine coverage. Kicks off today at 4 Eastern. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. Just going to let you know that I don't know if the buzz of what's going on here has gotten to the buzz going on there in Indianapolis. But tell me what the buzz is there first, and then I'll tell you what's going on in this studio.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there's all these quarterbacks that might be on the move. So, Dan, the buzz is there. And then I get these texts in the last hour that are blowing up my phone about a bet that was made between Jeff Darlington and it's the only thing anyone's talking about. I just saw 4 NFL coaches huddled together, and they're talking about the bet. So that's what's going on here in Indianapolis.
Have you got a report from Jeff Darlington, a comment from Jeff Darlington from ESPN? Because Paulie has bet Jeff Darlington that Brady is going to stay with New England, $1,000.
It's honestly, in a complete seriousness, it is the biggest topic of this comment. The CBA talk's going on. We've got Burrow and Tua, and all anyone is talking about is Brady. And good for Jeff to go on the record and say something like he said, because I'll tell you, I came into this week thinking there's no chance. I was with Paul on this one saying there's absolutely no chance when it's all said and done that Brady is going to be anywhere else because of the way that Robert Kraft and Tom Brady have lived their lives the last 20 years in a symbiotic fashion, and this is almost like a father-son deal. I am telling you, I talked to everyone, and everyone is here. I am leaving Indianapolis on Sunday, and I'm going to tell you, I do not know if Tom Brady is coming back to New England. The feeling and the vibe here is that if it was such a slam dunk, why is it not a slam dunk already? Why is it why is this twisting in the wind? And teams are starting to say, hey, look, it might not be us, but if that team, Team X, does sign Brady, well, then that leaves that quarterback that we might be interested in open, and that door might open here, because here's the domino effect. If the Titans are the team that Tom Brady's talking with, and Vrabel and him have such a great relationship, and suddenly he's a Tennessee Titan, well, then we'll know that Ryan Tannehill is no longer a quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. And if Ryan Tannehill is no longer a quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, he might be with another team, which means another quarterback, whether it be Bridgewater or whether it be Rivers, might be on the move somewhere else. So Brady is the first domino to drop. And the fact that we got here, that we are in Indianapolis, and it's not a wink and a nod like he's going back to New England, it is real. It is real, and we are entering a brave new world for the NFL.
Where would you place Brady if you could? If you were the commissioner, where would be the best place for Brady?
If I was the commissioner, if I'm Goodell saying, okay, I need to get something going and kickstart a franchise, I'm sending him right to L.A., and I'm putting him with Anthony Lynn and saying, I don't know if you guys know each other, but the Chargers, we need some buzz right now, because with Rivers gone and we're opening a new stadium with the Rams, and we're going to be tenants, it sure helps us to have Tom Brady on the billboards rather than Tyrod Taylor. I just don't see if that's necessarily happening. That's my problem with this Brady stuff. Everyone I'm talking to is saying that he might be on the move, but no one is courageous enough to put it to a team. So whereas the Tennessee thing might make sense on paper, and you're like, all right, John Robinson, the GM of the Titans, was with New England when they had Brady and they brought him in the building, and Vrabel, and they've got Malcolm Butler and Deion Lewis, and there's all these connections to the New England Patriots. I can't tell you on the record or on your show that I have heard anyone from Tennessee, who I know very well, that whole organization, or anyone from the Brady camp say, yep, that's right, that's it, go that way. So Tennessee seems like a logical place, but I've seen Peyton Manning be linked to the Miami Dolphins for an entire offseason and end up as a Denver Bronco.
Yeah.
So I will not put my name on anything yet, as this thing is just unfolding. One note, Don Yee, who is the longtime agent of Tom Brady, all the agents were here. As of yesterday, I hadn't seen Don here, so I don't even know if he's on the ground talking to these teams or, whatever legal. You can't do it because of tampering, but at least having a cocktail with some of these teams. I haven't seen Don yet, so I don't know if those conversations are even being had.
Yeah, if I'm Brady's agent, I'm not going to the combine. If I want to talk to a team, I just call them. I don't want to do something where somebody goes, hey, I saw – it's like when Brady was there with Mark Davis – in Vegas, and everybody went, oh, my God, the Raiders are going to sign Tom Brady. You just don't want that guilt by association of somebody reading something into it. And I agree with you. It feels like if New England was going to get something done before free agency, unless they really want to roll the dice and say, let's see who's really interested in what they'll pay you, or does Belichick actually have plan B already in place in his mind?
Yeah, and is that playing with fire? Like, That's the whole thing, because if it was Garoppolo or even Brissett sitting there waiting, I'd say, okay, well, I get it. Or if he had a free agent quarterback with some history that he's had with him, like he's never worked with Bridgewater. He's never worked with Dalton. He's never worked with these guys. So to say that, oh, well, there's a backup plan and let's let Tom Brady test the market. There's Garoppolo has not been in training. He's no longer there right now. So it's Jared Stidham. And with 1 year in the system, and Stidham played against the Jets, I think, for a hot minute, threw a pick six, and they put Brady right back in that game. I'm not so necessarily sure that's the wisest move. And yet, the Patriots, this could just be a rebuild if he goes somewhere else, because McCourty's a free agent, Matt Slater's a free agent, Kyle Van Noy's a free agent, Edelman's not getting any younger. Maybe this is how it ends. It never ends pretty. Very rarely do you get the Strahan, Elway, Jerome Bettis go out on top thing, but gosh, would it be weird if Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot was a loss to the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans in Foxborough?
And an interception, pick six.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? It doesn't feel right. It didn't feel like that was it. But who knows? This is what a great offseason this is. And I say great because it's great for me and you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's great for everyone else, but there is real intrigue. And it's not, hey, where's Melvin Gordon going to sign? And no offense to Melvin Gordon, but it's not some running back. It's not Le'Veon Bell. This is maybe the greatest player we've ever seen, and there's actual intrigue, and there's actual confusion as to where he's going to be playing in a month.
Peter Schrager, NFL Network host. You can see Peter on the NFL Network's 2020 NFL Scouting Combine coverage. Kicks off today at 4 Eastern. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. What do you think the Carolina Panthers game plan is?
I just talked to Matt Rule for about 20 minutes on air, and then I was with him long after that chat, and I honestly think he's being completely transparent and saying, let's see how these injuries things play out. But gosh, it's Cam Newton. It's 1 year. It's $20 million. Like, I think they want to see as far as and as long as they can go and get a status on his health. But I don't think they're rushing to trade Cam Newton or get rid of Cam Newton or draft even a replacement for Cam Newton just yet. They've got the 7th overall pick. I think they're sitting pretty if they wanted the third quarterback in this draft, which is either Jordan Love or Justin Herbert most likely, but I don't see them going that route. They might bring in another player to challenge Cam Newton, but for 1 year, $20 million, the money makes sense to say, hey, let's at least see this. When some of these guys are making $35, $36 million who went healthy aren't the same caliber players. So my read on this thing, yeah, they're in a bit of a rebuild, and Kuechly's gone, and it's a new coach, and Joe Brady's a new offensive coordinator. But I would think they at least want to kick the tires and see what version of Cam they're getting before they make a grave mistake and trade him and see him be the Cam Newton of old somewhere else.
Which team do you think goes up hard to get a quarterback? It feels like if Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals, the Redskins are there with Chase Young. Do you have to go up to 3 to get the quarterback you want, or do you have to go up higher?
I don't know. Matt Patricia came out earlier this morning and said that all the Stafford rumors are comical. Really said that the report didn't come from a verified, a journalist in our world, so I wouldn't trust it. So that was basically his way of saying Stafford's our guy, and I don't think you put that stuff on the record only to have egg on your face later. At no point did last year did Kingsbury come out and say, I love Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen's my guy. There was a lot there to read between the lines and say, okay, he's going to give this thing a whirl, but Kyler's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick to the Cardinals. So I think the Lions are set at quarterback. The Giants, from what I know that Joe Judge has said he's not saying Daniel Jones' name because he wants everyone to have a clean slate and meet with the team.
That's nonsense, Peter.
It was something. It was to Daniel Jeremiah and I were on set. We bring Joe Judge on, and Joe is great. He said that, and it's like, I don't know how would you receive that as a player, or how would you receive that? He didn't say Saquon Barkley's name, so he was like, I just want all these guys to be on the same equal footing when I meet them all at the same time, or whatever. So they're set at quarterback. Daniel Jones will be the quarterback. Dave Gettleman's not drafting another quarterback, which goes to Miami, who at 5, I would think Tua makes a lot of sense. I think if they sit pretty at 5, it makes sense, but it also means someone can come up at 3 and 4, and that's where it gets real interesting.
Well, I think that's going to happen. I don't think you get Tua at 5.
Yeah, it reminds me of a couple of years ago. Trubisky, I knew the Bears were in on Trubisky, and they had been quiet about it, but it was starting to leak out. And then the 49ers, the day of the draft, were like, oh, we like Trubisky too. And the 49ers, they didn't pull the rope-a-dope or anything, but they basically said, we're going to take this guy unless you give us a pick. And they got a draft pick out of it, and the Bears jumped them and took Trubisky. that's what maybe the Redskins should be doing right here. And Ron Rivera said they're going to meet with Burrow and Tua, which isn't exactly, crazy news when you have the number two overall pick, but it wouldn't hurt them to maybe stoke that fire a little bit and see what they can get. If a team says, oh gosh, we want Tua, and if we got to get Tua, we got to go away after number 2. Let's talk to the Redskins and let's see what we can do.
And I do like Dwayne Haskins. I wasn't sold on him. I don't like these one-year guys. But Haskins, I think the last month of the season, giving some trying times, performed pretty well. And I don't know if Ron Rivera wants a veteran in there. He'll have some backups there. But if I'm Washington, I still need to see a little bit more from Dwayne Haskins before I move on.
I agree. And I think what happens with all this is, Dwayne Haskins is working in the building. They're going to trot Tua through that building. They're going to trot Joe Burrow through that building. There are going to be visits. How does Dwayne Haskins respond to that? So for Ron Rivera, here we are. We're openly courting or at least meeting with these other quarterback prospects. As much as I want to get to know them, I think part of this is Ron wants to see how Dwayne Haskins, who last year was not ready to be a starting quarterback the first half of the season. As much as they wanted to go to him, he had not mastered the playbook, and it just wasn't time yet for him. I'm curious to know if Ron Rivera's strategy is let's openly give an adverse situation for this kid and see how he responds. And by the time the draft comes, we'll know if he handled this well and took it in stride and said, great, bring it on. I'm ready to go. I'm your guy, and I'm going to take leadership of this team in my first offseason as a Redskin. Well, then we learned a lot from him. But if Dwayne Haskins is unhappy with the fact they're talking to Tua and Burrow, if he's causing problems, he's not motivated by that, that also tells you something too.
When you see Jeff Darlington, tell him we want a piece of him.
Jeff is one of these guys. Jeff's like a cool guy. Jeff is out late. He's socializing. He's with like the Mike Silvers late. Jeff's got a whole different deal at the combine. I'm a student of the game. I'm watching all 22 film. I'm just breaking down tape. No, I will see Jeff, I'm sure, tonight, and I will say hello.
Oh, no. I need you to go.
You
got to go find him right now. He's got to answer this in the next half hour. He's got to answer Paulie's claim here, his charge.
$1,000, Jeff Darlington. I'll find him. I'll tell you if he's in on it.
All right. Thank you. Do you want a piece of that bet?
No. I stay far away. That's it. I want nothing to do with that.
Okay. All right.
I'm too cheap. I'm too cheap, dude. I want nothing.
Plus you're on the NFL Network, and you probably can't bet on the NFL Network.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bailed you out. Thank you, Peter.
You're the man. Thank you.
Peter Schrager, NFL Network host. Their combine coverage starts at 4 Eastern. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.